Oh, the questions are already coming in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another thematic webinar with the British Council. Thank you so much for joining us today. A very warm welcome to all of you. I'm going to give everybody a couple of minutes to settle down. I know you're coming after a long day of classes and sort of I'm hoping many of you have been able to start your classes physically, so you're going into school or college, for face-to-face classes. So I'm sure you've had a long day, but here is your opportunity to just kind of kick back, relax, and really enjoy this session. We're going to talk about media studies, so studying media in the UK. I think, like most other subjects, UK has a fantastic legacy in media studies. Some of the biggest media houses in the world are in the UK, and I think there is a lot that you can probably take from this session on that. And I think one of the most important things that we want to draw out here is how your studies or how your classroom lectures is going to translate to that career for you in media. We have a brilliant panel with us today again, and I will introduce them in a bit, but I just want to make sure everybody has come in and you're sort of settled down. I can see more people coming in, so I think that's fine for everybody. Just take note of where you need to put your questions in. This is supposed to be an interactive session. We're going to have very short presentations, and that's going to be followed by a Q&A session. So if you put your questions into the Q&A box, that's the bubble with a question mark. So if you put your question in, we'll make sure we publish it, and then you'll be able to kind of questions. You need to go on mute if the studio mute, please. Presentation. Thanks. Okay, so I will be asking those questions to the panel and make sure that as many of your questions as possible are answered, and you sort of go away from here more confident, more ready to apply for studying media in the UK. Once again, we want to make sure that you learn from the best and the experts. So we have an expert panel here for you. We have the University of Strathclyde, Dr. Jamil Ratnayake, who is lecturer in journalism, media and communication. Welcome, Jamil. It's nice to have you here with us. We also have Emma Johnstone, who is from the Student Recruitment Office here from Strathclyde. Welcome, Emma. We also have with us Goldsmiths, University of London. We have Jake Longley from Goldsmiths, and Jake is International Student Recruitment Manager. Finally, we're going to end with Falmouth University. We have Arav Dugal, who's the Senior Officer at Falmouth University, and we're really lucky today to have a student amongst us. We have Mida Grevelite, who's a student ambassador. So all those burning questions you have around what a student life going to be like, is it easy to kind of live as an international student there? What sort of support am I going to get? Is it easy to find a job? I know that's a question all of you have. What kind of support will the university provide me? You can ask all those questions and we'll make sure that those are answered. Okay, so that's great. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to the panel. And we're going to kick off with Strathclyde with Jamil. You're on. If you want to share your screen.
Thanks, Arti. Let me share my screen with you. Right.
Yep.
Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Brilliant, and I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes, perfect.
Thanks very much. Yeah, it's good to see all of you. I hope you're having a good day. My name is Jamil Ratnayake, and I'm the leader of the Journalism, Media and Communication subject area. I will be talking about our program, and my colleague Emma Johnston will help us in the Q&A. So first of all, I'll talk a little bit about the program, the university in general, Glasgow, the city, and then I'll provide some specific details about the media programs. So University of Strathclyde is one of the leading technological universities in Scotland. So we have a quite long history as a place of useful learning, and we have currently over 23,000 students, international students from many different countries. So it's a vibrant, brilliant international university. The university is performing exceptionally well, especially during the past decade. We won multiple awards, including the Times Higher Education UK University of the Year award twice. And also we won the Scottish University of the Year award and also the Queen's Anniversary Prize, especially for the excellent progress the university has made in terms of innovation. So currently we are ranked among some of the top universities in the country. Glasgow is an absolutely fantastic city to live, study and work in. And we live, the university is located right in the middle of the city, near the Merchant district. So it's about a 10-minute walk from the Glasgow Central Station and also the Queen's Station. And we are very well connected, easy transportation to Edinburgh, London, and there are so many facilities in walking distance. The university is in the walking distance. We have a brand new sports centre and also a brand new teaching and learning building with many innovative facilities, which was opened several months ago. So Glasgow, as I mentioned, is a lovely city. It's the largest city in Scotland, and there's so much happening, especially in terms of media activity. We have almost every mainstream media organization located in the city, so we have an advantage being in this city. So it's a vibrant city. There's a lot of music, a lot of activities happening. We hosted Commonwealth Games twice. So that's a bit of a history about the Glasgow city and the university. So I represent media, journalism and communication subject area, and we are one of the top ranked programs in the country. In 2022 Sunday Times rankings, we came as second in the communication and media studies subject area, and also Complete University Guide second in media and communication, and also in the Guardian Best Universities league tables we were the top ranked university media program. So consistently we've performed exceptionally well and ranked among best media, journalism and communication programs in the country. We have an absolutely fantastic team of scholars as well as media professionals representing different backgrounds, different sectors within the field. So currently we offer a number of programs. The undergraduate program is Journalism, Media and Communication program. Before we launched the JMC, Journalism, Media and Communication program, we were part of the creative writing program. So it was known as Journalism and Creative Writing, but creative writing colleagues now offer a degree in English and creative writing. Journalism program mainly offers the undergraduate degree in Journalism, Media and Communication and a number of other postgraduate degree programs. A very well-attended media and communication program, a master's degree program, and also a digital journalism program with a more practice-oriented approach. We have a creative writing master's degree, interdisciplinary English master's degree, and also a master's degree in applied gender studies. Media comm, digital journalism, and applied gender studies are the programs that we currently have within the journalism, media and communication subject area. Creative writing and interdisciplinary English degree programs are offered by the colleagues in the English program. In addition to undergraduate and master's degree programs, we have a number of PhD programs, research-based PhD, Master of Philosophy and MRes in journalism, media and communication. We have an absolutely fantastic population of students who study with us, a very international profile with students from many different countries. So I will briefly talk about skills development. The degree program has been designed to start with general skills as well as theoretical understanding of the field, and then gradually help you to move to the industry. And I'm talking about the undergraduate program in journalism, media and communication. So we start with basic classes to start building your skills, like introduction to news and features and how to write features. So in the first year and the second year, we will work with a number of professionals, media professionals, journalists coming from the industry to train you how to write news and feature articles, and also how to write for publishable outlets. And parallel to that, we'll be offering you a number of classes that will help you to understand journalism, media, and communication from a more theoretical perspective. So once you have that background and a good grasp of the ways in which the industry works, we will offer you a number of other classes that will help you to develop your practical skills. One example is the class Digital Tools and Skills for Journalism, in which we practice digital journalism using a number of cutting edge software, online platforms to understand how we can produce for networked media. In other words, the internet, developing new types of innovative kinds of content for the World Wide Web. And also we will offer a couple of classes that will help you to sort of move to the industry and understand how the industry works. For example, Scots Law is a class that teaches about the legal background of the country and the kind of rules and laws and regulations that will apply when you work in the media industry. So that will help you to understand how things work and settle in when you move to the industry. And also we offer a couple of other classes like communicating politics and gender issues in media that will help you to understand issues and topics related to media and communication from different perspectives. And that will help you to gain an overall understanding of the field. So graduate careers, employment opportunities is one of the main areas that we focus in the JMC degree. So as I mentioned before, based on the examples I mentioned, we have a number of classes that will help you to understand the field in general and also gain some practical skills like writing news articles, writing feature articles, producing media, and also creating content, publishing content in networked media on the World Wide Web. And also you'll get an understanding of areas like law. And in the third year, we will offer a class called Working for and with Scottish Media. It's basically a conversation with professionals. Every week, professionals representing the industry, journalism, media, and communication will come to the class, share their experience, and will give you tips on how to move to the industry and the kind of experience that you will receive when you work in the industry, the kind of challenges you will face, and that will help you to sort of think about moving to industry. And that prepares you to apply for a job. And in the summer, after you take that class, we will work with you to help you to develop your CVs, write your covering letters, and start looking for employers. In the final year, we offer a class called Work-Based Learning. Work-based learning is a full internship-based class. What happens in this class is you will work with an employer, ideally a media organization in Glasgow or in the UK. We will train you to apply for a position, and we will help you to secure a position. We will also offer a number of positions for students, and students will go and work in the industry for a semester. So in the end, the students will produce a document that will reflect upon the experience that you have. So the goal is to start with practical skills, give you theoretical understanding of the field, and then introduce you to the field and give you an understanding about the industry, and then help you to move to the industry by the end of your degree as part of work-based learning. So this will help you to move to the industry and get settled, find an employment, and be a media, journalism, and communication professional. So these are some details on tuition fees and scholarships, undergraduate and postgraduate. And also we have a number of awards, and we frequently publish those opportunities on the university website. I believe I have a couple of minutes left. I will talk a little bit about the team. We have an absolutely fantastic team. Dr. Michael Higgins represents political communication and media theory background, and Dr. Petya Eckler represents social media studies and journalism. We have Dr. Sally Ann Duncan, who focuses on digital journalism as well as media ethics. My background is computer mediated communication, and I work on researching social media and explaining dynamics of internet-based interaction. We also have a number of colleagues directly coming from the industry. Rhiannon Duncan, a working journalist, and also Richard Walker, a well-experienced journalist who currently work with us. And every year we bring in people from the industry, top-level organizations like BBC, Scotsman, Herald, and many other mainstream media organizations in the country. In terms of extracurricular activities, the university has a very active atmosphere. Strathclyde newspaper, student-based newspaper, is run by students, and our students are very active, and they work in positions like editor-in-chief, associate editors, writers, and our students have won many awards for their contribution to active student-based journalism. So that's basically the background of the degree. As I mentioned before, Glasgow is a lovely city, and also the university is located in the city, in one of the best places next to the Glasgow Cathedral. And also we have absolutely brilliant facilities and a team to help you to get a good degree and move to the industry. I think that's me. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much. If I may ask a few questions which we have received in the chat box, and then we will move to the next university, although I can see that the panel is replying in the chat box as well. But there are few candidates, they want to know about the scholarships. Although you have already covered for University of Strathclyde, any further information which you would like to add?
Emma, would you be able to help with that?
Yeah, sure. So our international scholarships at the moment, we're still kind of pending approval. We hope to have these approved this week, and further information will be on the website. But we're hoping for undergraduate, it will be a scholarship of £3,500 per year on the course, and for postgraduate we're hoping it's going to be about £4,000 scholarship available. We think this year there's going to be an application that you'll need to fill out if you want to be eligible for the scholarship, but that will be on our website. So on our main website we've got a scholarship search engine. There are some scholarships for specific courses as well, so you can just go in and you can filter your details and it'll bring up a list of all the scholarships that you're eligible for.
Thanks, Emma. Really helpful. There is another candidate. He wants to know whether there is any course available which is science along with media.
Courses that assign. Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Basically, the combination of the course, media as well as including some component of science.
Yes, so so this class is a joint honors degree. In other words, when you take this degree, you'll have to study another subject area. For example, we have students who study languages with journalism, media and communication, psychology with journalism, media and communication, economics with JMC. So you will be studying two different subject areas, so it's a joint honors degree. So I believe there's a great deal of flexibility for students to choose the courses you want. So the best thing is to go to the university website and see the subject areas that you can study along with journalism, media and communication. We have provided a list of subject areas that you can take with JMC. So yeah, so it's a very interdisciplinary kind of a subject.
Thank you, Vishu, for holding the fort, and I'm back. Sorry, it's the first time I've had a computer issue in the last 2 years, so I guess it was long overdue. Thank you, Jamil, for answering that. I'm going to sort of continue the questions, and I'm happy to ask these to the other universities as well, because some of them, it'll be good to hear from everybody. But do any of you have summer programs for students who are, say, 16 to 18, so just before they finish school, kind of an age?
We did have some in the HAS and humanities, unfortunately, just due to COVID this year, that they won't be running. But hopefully, when we kind of get back onto a bit more back onto campus, they may run again next year. All
right. Okay. Thank you. For Goldsmiths and Falmouth, if you have your summer programs, do pop that into the chat, or come in now. There's a question which Emma has already answered. Thank you. Postgraduate in Media and Communications is how long is the course for? Emma has said it's 12 months in Strathclyde. I'm assuming that's true for Goldsmiths and Falmouth as well. If it's not, please do come in again. Okay. There's a question around. Okay, there's a question around studying. Okay, I think you've kind of answered this already, Jamil. That there, someone wants to kind of pair this up with engineering. So I mean, I don't know. Would you be able to do media with engineering, or is that too different?
Currently, we don't have students who study engineering and JMC. The joint honors subjects mainly come from within the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. So I would say no, we don't really have students who are doing engineering plus JMC.
Thank you, thanks, Jamil. I'm going to end with this one and then hand over to Goldsmiths. Can you guide? Okay, can you sort of talk about the best career opportunities for media studies, mass communications once they've completed their degree?
Ideally, we want our students to join a mainstream media organization. It's not necessarily journalism, but well, some students directly go to the industry as journalists. We have many students active in the field, TV organizations, and also other positions like media managers, social media campaign managers, and also PR, public relations industry, because we have an emphasis on public relations, communication design. It's a quite wide range of skills that we're focusing on. So I think that's a good question. One last point I want to mention is there's a lot of flexibility for students to sort of decide what they want to do. And if they can focus on the positions that they want to go for, they can kind of customize their classes to their interests. For example, work-based learning is the best opportunity to find the place that they like and then move and work with them.
Yeah, that's really useful. I think that's quite a wide range of subjects, as you said. And I think we can kind of explore these a little bit further down the line in the discussion, but I'm going to, so thank you, Strathclyde, and we're going to move on. Keep the questions coming. We're going to keep on kind of checking in with the panel to help answer your questions. We have some very specific questions for students who kind of want to figure out their career path. So we'll come to that as well. Just breathe. Thank you. And Jake,
thanks,
over to you.
Hi everyone. I'm just going to quickly share my screen. It'll be one second. Oops. Okay, hopefully you can see this presentation.
It's not showing yet, but I think you are sharing it, but it's not visible yet. Or at least not visible to me. Yeah, there it is. You're good
sorry.
to go.
I've just pressed. Oh, to do it again.
There was just a bit of a lag. I think if you do it again, it'll show.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on.
Perfect. Thank you for confirming. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining today. So my name is Jake Longley. I'm an international recruitment manager at Goldsmiths, University of London. My contact details are on the screen here. So you've got my email address. And also there's my work mobile phone number. So if you're on WhatsApp or Telegram or almost any messaging app you can think of, feel free to send me either an email or a message and I'll be more than happy to hear from you. Don't worry if you don't get these now, they'll come up again at the end as well. So I'm going to briefly introduce you to Goldsmiths. We were founded in 1891 and then we joined the University of London in 1904. The University of London is a federation of 17 universities all based in London. So this includes obviously Goldsmiths, but UCL, King's College London, the London School of Economics, lots of wonderful universities like this. We're a single site campus and we're in the heart of southeast London. We're in an area called New Cross and I'll show you that in a second. We're quite a small university compared to UK average sizes. We have 10,000 students, but they come from 140 countries around the world. I think at present we have between 50 and 60 students from India directly, but I think you can confirm that on our website. We're considered to be one of the UK's top creative and political universities. And we focus on creative arts, media, entrepreneurial business, computing, psychology, social sciences like anthropology and sociology, and then the humanities as well. And with the courses that we offer and how long we've been open, we've taught quite a lot of amazing alumni who've gone on to have some quite big and influential careers. To give you an idea of where we are, this is a map of London, but this is basically just central London. You can see the centre in the top left. We're the orange icon where it says Goldsmiths campus just at the bottom right of this graphic. So like I said earlier, we're in an area called New Cross, but we're outside the city centre.
Jake, sorry to interrupt, but the slides aren't moved. Oh, there it is. Okay, there's a bit of a lag.
Okay, is this on the map now?
Yeah, it's on the map now. Yeah,
okay,
but
cool. I'll have to delay as I go through to each one. Okay, so like I said, this map is just central London. And this, we're the orange icon at the bottom right, Goldsmiths campus. We're in an area called New Cross. And to get from us into the city centre, we've got two train lines from New Cross Gate and New Cross. They're just next to our campus. So to get to these train lines go into London Bridge, which is basically the start of the city centre. To get from our campus to London Bridge, like it says on here, it takes 9 minutes. But to get from us, say, to Selfridges, which is the top left, Selfridges is a big, famous department store. It's on Oxford Street. It takes 27 minutes to get from our campus to the other side of the city centre, and then there you are. But lots of the media organisations in London are based around Oxford Circus, so the BBC is there. So like I said, 27 minutes from us to there, and you can get there in no time.
Jake, I'm so sorry, but the slides are not sort of coming across properly. We're just getting some questions from the students on that. Do you mind just resharing it? Just stop
map.
Sharing and yeah, the map, it's not loaded properly and the slides aren't moving quite. So let's just try again. Perhaps it's a little heavy, but we just have to.
So it should be a photograph.
Let me see. It's not yet loaded on my screen. I think it's just taking a bit of time, maybe because it's heavy. Okay, there is a map, but it's not loaded fully, so it's kind of pixelated. That's the problem.
Okay.
I don't think that's just me, so maybe it's just. Okay, let's move to the next. Do you mind just moving to? Yeah. Okay, so this is the one with the campus, right? Is that the one?
Photograph.
Yeah. That's fine. Go on.
Okay, so I'm going to just move to the next one just to double check. So now there should be lots of
photographs.
photographs.
That's better. Perfect. It's good.
Perfect.
It's working.
Okay. Fingers crossed we work now. Okay, so this is a photograph of our campus. Like I said at the start, we're a single site campus. So some universities in London, their campuses are based around the city, but we're not. We're all in one place. So every building you need is just inside this thin orange line at the bottom of the photograph. You can see some of our accommodation buildings here as well. We've got 7 in total. 1 is right on the campus. 3 are just opposite the campus, just over the road. And then 3 are just outside this photograph. 1 is a 10-minute walk, 1 is a 10-minute train ride. It's super easy to do. It's 4 stops, 1 train, you can be there direct. And the final one is a 20-minute bus ride, but it's 15 stops, 1 road, about 7 different buses will get you in this direction, but it's exactly the same journey and it's really, really easy to do. But from this photograph as well, you can see those 2 train lines that go into the city centre. The city centre is at the top of this photograph. So you can see how close we are to the city, but also you get this benefit of being quite a nice residential part of London. It's quite nice and quiet, away from the chaos of the city centre, but it's there if you want to get there. Okay, so that's who we are and where we are, but now I'm going to talk to you about media at Goldsmiths. So we're currently ranked 12th in the world for media, and inside the UK for postgraduate programs, we're joint first in the UK for the research intensity in our communication and media studies programs. Being part of the media department at Goldsmiths means you have access to a calendar of events featuring world-renowned practitioners, thinkers and policymakers that recently included organisations like the Guild of British Film and Television Editors, Anti-Austerity and Media Activism Conferences. Also, recently there was the Putnam Inquiry into the Future of the BBC, and we were part of that as well. We're also home of a website called East London Lines, which is a 24/7 news website that's run by our students. So students on our media and communications programs work for this website as journalists, as editors, as photographers, all different roles like this. And like I said, it's a live news website. They're building their portfolio ready for when they graduate and to go find jobs, and sort of also work, like I said, real world stories. So these are all the media programs we offer at Goldsmiths. There's quite a lot to go through, but I'm just going to focus on two. So BA Media and Communications, our 3-year undergraduate degree, and then MA Media and Communications, a 1-year postgraduate degree. So to get started, our BA Media and Communications program, it's a mix of 50% theory and 50% practical. You may see different balances at other universities, but this is how we do it at Goldsmiths. Our practical elements are really vocational, so giving the skills you need to go and get the job and do the job. But the theory side is critical and academic. And we look inside the theory elements of like media, history and politics, culture and cultural studies. We want to really think about the key debates in media studies and film and the audiovisual and media arts. And we want to understand how this all comes together and how it informs the media we both create and consume and how we perceive these things as well. To give you an idea of the theory elements of our program, this will give you more of an idea of, well, it's like who Goldsmiths is as well, what we aim for in our programs. So I've got the list of the theory modules that you take on year 2 and year 3. So starting with year 2, the first 2 that are in bold, these are compulsory modules, but then every other module, including in year 3, I've listed here, are optional modules. You get to pick and drive the degree into the subject area that you want to go to. So if we look at year 3, I'm going to pick out a couple of these. So things like race, empire and nations, just understanding how these have affected the media we have made, how they affect how we consume and perceive media, and understanding things like representation inside media. It's all really important, especially nowadays, the more we think about the world coming together and understanding our role as individuals and as a society. Also on this program, we offer media law and ethics, so you can understand how the law operates inside media and like understand those ethical decisions you have to make. We also look at social media and everyday life and understanding a global perspective from this. And you also have the option to take a dissertation, to write a dissertation if you want. This is usually a 10,000, 12,000 word essay on a subject area that you've chosen. So if you want to do that dissertation, if you really want to focus on and research a particular topic inside media and communications, it's there for you. But to move on to the practical elements, we have these 7 different pathways. And I'm going to talk about a couple of them, but they've picked out some sort of elements of work that you do on the program as well. So you pick these pathways inside, I think it's the first year, and you can sort of change as the program goes along. But by doing these pathways, like I said earlier, you'll get the skills you need to go and do the career you want to do. So if we start at the bottom with television and film, you'll learn how to firstly make television and film programs, learn how to write, direct, use cameras, all different things like this. But an element of the program that we also include is learning how to pitch an idea, write treatments, produce press packs, and also have masterclasses and practical workshops from industry professionals. So you're getting that contact time with the industry that you need to then sort of start building your network, learn from their experience, and then apply that to your own practice. If we look at interactive media as well, this is where we look at sort of like website development and multimedia applications. So in this program, you'll use the fullest possible range of image making and contemporary front-end development practices to create the websites or interactive piece of work that you want to create. Finally, I'm just going to pick out journalism. Obviously, I've already sort of talked about this a little bit, but here you'll be writing news and features for use online or in print, and then learn how to integrate visual material, text and interactive features in an online or print environment. And like I said at the start, we have that website, eastlondonlines.com. So like I said, it's a real working website that's reporting news from East London. And as part of the journalism pathway of this program, you get to work on that website. And like I said, build that portfolio as you move forward. So after this program, you could then start thinking about a career. You can go straight from this program into a career if you want. So the things to think about are the skills that you've developed on here. So your critical and analytical skills, you'll have proficiency in assessing evidence and in expressing your ideas clearly. You have the ability to bring together insights from a range of different subjects. If you think about those theory modules that we have, like thinking about how you can sort of bring different ideas from different areas of media together. You'll be developing your IT and communication skills and also your journalistic and creative writing skills. You can then apply these in journalism, so broadcast, print or online, in radio, film, TV. You can also think about careers in other industries as well that are related to media, so marketing and advertising, PR, but then also we're sort of really keen as well in thinking about outside of these areas. So thinking about maybe working for charities and NGOs. There are lots of organizations that will be dying for your media and communication skills to help with their work. You could think about central and local government, and also thinking about that media law and ethics module in particular, like how can you help with sort of media legislation, things like this. And finally, social research organizations. There are lots of different organizations and think tanks that will be looking for your skills. But if you're looking to go into, say, film and TV or radio or journalism directly, you'll absolutely have the skills from this program to then go into that career. Excuse me. For those of you who are thinking about studying maybe a postgraduate program or thinking about doing a postgraduate program after you're an undergrad like that, a bachelor's degree, we have this program, so MA Media and Communications. Now, this is a theory-driven MA. There are some practice options on the program in journalism, campaigns and design, and also in our screen schools. That's learning how about film and TV, but this is mainly a theory program. So here, this is where you get to apply your knowledge to a subject that really kind of ignites your interest, and also, you know, using that interest to do your own independent research as part of the dissertation that you write. We change and update the course each year to make sure what we're giving you is relevant to what's happening in media and the world today. So you'll know what's current, and you'll be able to go straight out into the industry and work. But also, we take a collaborative approach in this program, and we bring together different intellectual ideas and a whole range of ways of thinking, which have been traditionally compartmentalized. We want to sort of bring media and sort of society together and understand how these two work together, where normally we're sort of quite separate. So again, I sort of highlighted the modules here. The first two in bold are the modules you have to take. They're compulsory, but then you then get to pick from the rest of the list, all the modules that are not in bold. You may see some modules that are the same name as the bachelor's degree I just showed, but these are a level up. So these are, you know, they do progress to postgraduate level. So again, there's race, empire and nations. One I didn't pick out on the previous one was music and communication and creative practice. That was on the previous one as well. But where we sort of go further on this degree, we can think about right in the middle of the screen there, post-colonial theory. So understanding sort of this sort of post-colonial world and trying to decolonize the way we think about media, the curriculum that we teach, and how we sort of consume and perceive the media as well. We also have a module in representing reality, so understanding sort of the concepts and sort of making sure you can look at things like reality TV and things like that in that module, but also go into software studies and understand the software behind the media, but also the theory that goes into that as well. Like I said before, there is some practical options to this program. So I've picked out just a couple. So the first, you've got the journalism option, so journalism in context and online news reporting. But there's a whole series of screen school options that you could take as well. So things like camera fundamentals, so learning how to use cameras and pushing forward with your skills there. Thinking about visual storytelling, film editing. There's a number of different routes you can go through with this program. But like I said, this program in particular is mainly a theory, so this is just a portion of the program. But then from this program, once you've all graduated, you can think about similar areas to go into as the bachelor's degree. So thinking about advertising, marketing and public relations, broadcast and print media, obviously film and TV work, but then also working for social media companies, NGOs and intergovernmental organizations, but also thinking further about the arts and heritage sector. So like the research that you would have been doing, if, you know, with the dissertation, there's lots of applications from here as well. But then finally, because this is quite a theory-based program, you may be thinking about further study into PhD work. So a lot of the students who take this program, you know, a lot do go into careers, but a lot also think about, like, you know, going into a PhD and taking a doctorate. So like I said before, these are all of our programs, and obviously for postgraduate level, I kind of focused on one that is mainly theory, but I just want to highlight just how many programs we have that are practical. So I appreciate I've got MA Media and Communications here as well, and an element of this program is practical, but the rest on this list are almost 100%, I think like 75% at the lowest practical. So we've got our MA Filmmaking program. I saw a question earlier about someone thinking about cinematography. We have a cinematography pathway here, which you can go and take, and they'll push forward in your career there. But also if you want to push further, maybe in radio or script writing, television journalism, there's lots of options here for you. So I appreciate it. I just want to finally sort of highlight, I didn't sort of mention it, I should have done it in the career section, but lots of students from our programs, you know, have really great contacts with the BBC, CNN, The Guardian, lots of media organizations like this, but lots of our students as well go on to work in sort of marketing at places like Apple and Google and Spotify. There's kind of lots of options and applications for programs like this in sort of the wider world. Here's my contact details again, and also if I could just recommend, go to our YouTube channel. There's lots of really wonderful videos, especially from the media department, there for you. Thank you, and I'm sorry about the problems earlier with sharing my screen, but hopefully we got there.
Thank you, Jake. That was brilliant. And there are some questions specifically for Goldsmiths. The first one, which is I think the last slide that you covered, so you don't have to go into a lot of detail, which, you know, because you've just mentioned it. Which are the most practice-oriented media programs at Goldsmiths?
So yeah, so obviously the bachelor's degree firstly is 50% practical, so there's a really healthy amount of practical work on there. But when you go to postgraduate level, I think the first thing to think about, obviously the person's asked the question about practical work, so the first thing to think about is what do you want to focus on? So if it is practical work, it's finding those. So some of the programs I highlighted on the previous slide, we have an MA filmmaking program that has lots of different pathways in elements of film. So cinematography, editing, directing. I think there's even one in documentary filmmaking and sound design. So there are lots of practical programs if you really want to hone in on those skills. But likewise, I appreciate the question about practical work, but if you wanted to think more about the theory side, we have those as well. The best thing to do, sorry, I'm making this answer very long. The best thing to do is to, on our website, when you go to the course page, like find the program you want to study, scroll down a little bit, there's a box that says what you will study. Open that up and you'll see all the modules and you can see how practical the program is. But if you have any questions, feel free to email me.
Brilliant. Jake, are applications for 2022 intake still open?
Yes, so for undergraduate programs, there's the UCAS deadline of the 26th of January. However, what this means is anyone who applied from September through the 26th of January gets equal consideration. Anyone who applies after then for Goldsmiths, if there's spaces on the courses, we'll get to you when you're next in line. So there usually are spaces, so we should be good to go. For postgraduate programs, some programs do have deadlines, but some programs don't. I couldn't say off the top of my head which ones do and which ones don't, so that you will find the dates on the course pages. However, all of this in mind, I'd recommend applying by March or April at the latest. The main thing is to make sure you're in line to be seen and that the program isn't full. But the second thing is over the summer, if you're thinking about coming to study with us in September, this summer you're going to have to apply for accommodation, you're going to have to sell your finances, get your visa, and that can be quite stressful. So it's good to just get the application out the way, make sure you've got a space at the university, and then we can focus on everything else later.
Thank you, Jake. Jake, I'm going to ask you to pop in your link for scholarships in the question that's there in the chat once I let you go. But there are a couple more questions that I want to ask you before I let you go, and there are some questions for everybody. I know there are a lot of questions around accommodation. I want to bring in our student here today, Mida, in for that, but I'm going to wait till the end of the session for that. There are also questions around PhD study, and I think Emma has helpfully put in her comments there, so thank you for that, Emma. Okay, here's a quick one for you, Jake. MA in journalism is how many years at Goldsmith?
1 year. Almost all of our MA programs are 1 year.
Most
Some
MA
maybe 15 months, but almost all of them are just 1 year.
Okay, brilliant. There is also a very specific question, but Jake, if you don't mind putting the answer into that in the chat, what is the difference between MA digital journalism and MA digital media at Goldsmith? So it's a very specific question for you, so I'll let you answer that at your convenience in the chat. I'm going to quickly invite Falmouth. So Arav, if you want to switch on your video and start presenting, and there is a question I know around the subject requirements for IBDP. So, give us a minute. We're going to finish the next presentation, then we're going to come back and finish the rest of the questions. So Thank you, Jake. Arav, you're good to go if you want to start sharing your screen.
Brilliant. First things first, I'll just go ahead and share my screen initially. Is it visible?
I think it's loading, not yet.
Visible now?
Not yet. I don't know if that's just me. But we can make, I mean, it's gonna come in a minute. Yeah, your screen is visible, but not your presentation.
Okay, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Is it visible now?
Yes, you're good to go.
Brilliant. Right. Hi, everyone. My name is Arjun Fikal. I'm the Senior Officer for Falmouth University. I'm based out of India, New Delhi. And I'm here to talk about the School of Communication at Falmouth and how it's probably different from a lot of schools that you've already checked out. So just to give you a quick rundown of what's the essence of the School of Communication, we at Falmouth basically specialize in pairing students with the right opportunities according to their skills, talents, and interests, because we understand that every student has their own level of skill and different interests. So it's not a single, line that we pick up and go forward with it. We make sure that every student is catered on the basis of how they want to go ahead and take their career further. With purpose-built studios, newsrooms, and podcasts, we try and emulate a real-world working environment for students so that they're comfortable in that sort of an environment. We completely believe in live projects, and because that's going to give the students the best experience and help them understand more about the subject that they're studying, and obviously their specialization that they're intending to study further. We have a very nurturing and very creative environment that we focused on while building the campus, which is pretty much right next to the beach. We're at the southmost part of the UK, so our campus is literally right next to the beach. So it's a very, very creative and a very inspiring environment for students to study and to obviously create what they want to create. As I mentioned, campus activities mirror workplace activities. That's our motto, pretty much. Our alumni have gone and won BAFTA awards and written bestsellers. And expert tutors and guests are basically the key for honing the next generations of talent. So just speaking of the courses that we offer in the School of Communication, there's communication design, creative advertising, creative writing, journalism, media production, both UG and PG. We have other available courses as well that I'd be very, very happy to talk about after the presentation. But specifically right now, we're going to be talking about journalism, undergraduate journalism, and what exactly is it that we teach in the School of Journalism. So the focus is on current trends to teach students how to work with current trends and then accordingly predict upcoming trends as well. So by the time they do end up getting out of the university and into the actual world of jobs and everything, they are well aware of what's happening and they can predict the kind of trends that are going to happen when it comes to writing specifically. Because of how important writing is in journalism, the first year modules are shared with English and creative writing courses as well, just so that the students understand the basic of writing and how they can perfect their writing first. Share modules help in understanding perfecting basics of writing, as I mentioned. And there's an extensive alumni network that we have in our journalism course that have gone on to work with BBC, CNN, Film4, to name a few organizations. Specifically talking about the years that we're looking at. So the first year is more about the feel of what the student wants to further specialize in. So that there are a lot of guest lectures that happen, a lot of writing projects that happen, wherein the students can go ahead and see whatever they want to study further. So that's when year two comes in, where the study is a bit more focused on the specializations that the students pick. There are some specializations that we offer personally that have been very, very popular with students, screenwriting, game stories, and satire writing, to name a few. Then in year 3, students usually learn how to further hone their talent. They start working on their portfolios and their dissertation, and then also focus on a lot of collaborative projects, which ultimately help them create a very, very good portfolio. The next, I'd like to talk about graphic design. The graphic design, personally, for me, is one of my most favorite courses at Falmouth University because of how amazing the studios are. They feel like you're sitting in a spaceship because of the lights and everything. It's actually very gorgeous. But we focus on creating adaptive and curious thinkers because graphic design involves a lot of imagination. Obviously, the environment that Falmouth has made within the campus focuses on just firing that imagination even further. How to respond to societal needs of contemporary world, which is something that graphic designers would always be expected to do, and that's something that Falmouth would make sure that all the graphic designers would understand. We do not have any set pathway in year 1, so the students can explore more, which is similar to what journalism was in the first year as well. So we make sure that the students understand the basics of design and the design process, how to make a narrative with their designs, and the core structure of storytelling and various models and via various models and platforms. So, you'd not only be studying one platform, you'd be studying many platforms in order to understand what you want to specialize in year 2. You'd also be learning typography, brand experience, collaborative projects, design direction, and role of design in society in year 2, which is obviously the last module is sort of more contemporary, which would make you understand how your designs can affect the society and how the society can affect your designs. So that adaptiveness is something that you'll learn over year 2. Year 3 would be, again, very similar to the journalism module. You'd be building your portfolio. There are going to be tons and tons of flight projects. Context of work would be required, so you'd be working on that. And then obviously you'd also be working on story building and how you can inculcate your design talent into making stories. I'm just going to quickly switch over to Medha for the next couple of slides because that's her. She basically is a student for creative advertising. And so, yeah, Medha.
So advertising in its essence is just about solving brands marketing problems. And obviously that's what we learn during our course. So we try to create ads that solve the problems in fun, engaging, and useful ways. And so in the course, we talk about many different things, starting off with social media trends, the psychology of consumers, how they behave, how they buy. And then even we end up creating our own brands, and then later on we can choose to create our own startups. So as you can see on the right-hand side of the slide, we start off in year 1 with creative problem solving, where we gain like essential skills of how to approach the problem differently. We move on to art direction and copywriting, and as well as pitching. So these are just essential skills to have in advertising. Then in year 2, we move on to creating more extensive campaigns, solving a bit more of our complex issues, and creating our own brands as well, working on real life briefs and world-renowned brands. And then in the 3rd year, we gather all of the skills that we learned in the previous 2 years and we put them to work. So we attend different competitions, we create our portfolios, work with industry professionals. We have a lot of live briefs, and then we sharpen our entrepreneurial skills. So as I mentioned, we have the ability to create our own startups. Then we can move on to the another slide. Awesome. So I just wanted to emphasize on how practical and career focused the course is. And so here are some exciting things that I've actually done or will have a chance to do throughout the degree. To begin with, we have a chance to directly connect with advertising agencies. So we go to London for a week where we actually attend different advertising agencies, walk around them, get to network with people and see how the agencies work and operate. We also work with creative partners, which helps us to improve our team building skills and collaboration skills. we do learn in a very fast-paced environment, so to say. So we create many ads and many campaigns in a span of just 12 weeks, which can be very stressful, but it also helps us with our critical thinking. And, at the end of the day, you have a nice holiday. And then we do work with real agencies and client briefs, including the opportunities to pitch our ideas to actual creative directors and even CEOs if we're lucky. And so at the end of those, we even have a chance to win the internship, which I had the opportunity, and I was shortlisted for an internship just this term. So the opportunities are real, and we're not just saying that they're there. Then we can move on to the last slide. Oh, I can't see the next slide. Nice. So I just wanted to talk a bit about how Falmouth is for an international student. Beginning with the university, since I'm an international student myself, I was really surprised with the staff and how helpful it was. In our first year, we also get student mentors, which are the students who are studying our course just a year above us. And they were more than happy to answer any questions and any concerns that I or any other international student had. Social life, I wanted to mention that, since Falmouth is far from the major cities and it's in Cornwall, it's a tiny town, people are often worried that there might not be enough stuff to do there. However, I want to assure that we have plenty of pubs and clubs if you like going out. But personally, what I discovered in Falmouth, which is incredible. So as Araf mentioned, we're right next to the beach. And when the weather is nicer, a lot of students just hang out with friends and they get like the instant barbecue kits. They have a couple of drinks and then just grill some meat or just some veggies and have a very, very cute barbecue while watching the sunset at the beach. And I think just for that, Falmouth has a ton of extra points because I absolutely love that. And I'm so excited for the weather to get nicer. And then just in the free time, since Falmouth is quite tiny, but we are located in Cornwall, we have an incredible space there, and we can just take some trains, drive around Cornwall. I love hanging out just outside and spending a lot of time outside. So taking the trains to different towns and exploring Cornwall, as well as just taking some hikes around Falmouth is an incredible way to get to know the area and just see the beautiful nature that Cornwall has to offer.
Brilliant. Perfect, yes. And that's pretty much where we are. You're on mute, Therese.
Thank you, Arav. It had to happen once, didn't it?
Yes.
I'm going to request everyone to come back on video. I'm just going to quickly answer some questions that we haven't been able to so far, but thank you to everybody who's been kind of answering them in the chat box. I think that's super useful and the students can just take that away immediately. Very quick questions. I'm just going to kind of, go around the table here. What are your requirements typically, if you know them now, or you can post a link later, for IB students, for students who have done IB? Not just what are your expectations, but what courses do they need to have to be able to qualify for your degrees? Arav, I'll start with you. If you have a response, then I'll go to the others.
Right. So just the basics of what we would require, the minimum is a 24 point. Depending on obviously what you want to study further in your undergraduate, that's how you'd obviously choose your subjects in IB. But apart from that, for more detailed information, I'll just copy a link and put it in the chat so that you guys can go through it and see
Brilliant.
Whatever suits you.
Yep, thank you. Jake, do you have a response here? Then I'll go to Jamil.
Yes, so for all of our undergraduate programs, we ask for 33 overall with 3 higher level subjects at 655, but we never declare what subjects those 655 should be. So what we want from you is to find relevant or related subjects to go towards the degree. So for something like media and communications, our bachelor's degree, you can think about maybe media, or obviously like English programs like this, they could be really useful. But the trick with applying to Goldsmiths is telling us how what you've studied is relevant or related to what you want to study on the degree, and you do this in your personal statement.
Brilliant. Strathclyde, Jamil or Emma, do you want to?
Yeah, for Strathclyde, we would look for an overall 36, and we would look for maths and English, and then it's really up to the student. We would kind of look for maybe essay-based subjects, humanities subjects, but again, we're quite flexible.
Brilliant, thank you. Does anybody here offer a media course that can be combined with computer science or similar? Okay, that's a no. Thank you for that. Does anybody have creative writing courses that can be taken up maybe distance or through a short program, summer school type things? Or I think you can, I mean, if this is for the student, if you want to explore the list of courses that the universities offer, that might be better, so you know what kind of works for you and your needs. Moving on very quickly, I'm going to come to Strathclyde for this. Jamil, do you want to tell us how you can apply your media studies in a government job if somebody has kind of their eyes on a government job at the end of the day? And I think that's very lucrative, especially in India. How will the media degree help them?
I would recommend working towards PR. That's what our students who move to government positions do. Government communication, public communication, PR, and we have a couple of colleagues who specialize in that area. So from the first year, we have assignments that help people to understand how to work with the government, communicating politics, those sort of classes. Yeah, PR, work on PR, and then choose the assignments that help you to sort of gain a PR background. That would be the best way to move forward.
Brilliant. I think that's similar to what Jake's also mentioned in the chat. So thanks, Jake. Jake, if I can come to you, what are you looking for, you know, in 2 or 3 kind of qualities to be able to select somebody for a course like in media studies?
Yeah, so what we're mainly looking for when we review students' personal statements is to see a passion and an application to the subject that they're applying. And this doesn't have to be like a lifelong passion. We're not expecting someone to say, I've wanted to work in media since I was 4, but it's thinking about where does this passion come from and then building on there. One of the biggest things we always look for in the personal statement that goes along with this point is thinking about the independent research that you've done. So outside of school or outside of any work experience that you've got. So where else does this passion come from, and how are you building on it? How are you learning on your own, and where are you taking this? The final thing with Goldsmiths, and this is sort of where we're sort of like this is sort of like the theme of the university, like everything we look at, we're constantly looking at sort of society, and you know, all of our programs have like an anthropological thread that goes through them. So trying to understand people and society and thinking about how can we make these things better. So you don't necessarily have to include that in your personal statement, but it's something that Goldsmiths does kind of look for, and it's kind of worth sort of pointing out, like, what is it you're trying to do in media, and where is it you want to go? So maybe sort of think about, you know, is it to help people, or is it to help spread a message? Like, what's your aim with this? But that kind of bit, I'm not sure how the other universities feel, but that's sort of my experience of Goldsmiths with that sort of particular final point.
Thank you, Jake. If anybody wants to come in to add to that, please do. Or I'm going to move on. I'm going to come to Mida as our kind of resident student voice here. Mida, we've got a lot of questions around accommodation. You've obviously, you know, mentioned your experience as a student, studying advertising, as well as student life, and, you know, going around having fun, but also making the most of your time there as a student. So sort of any practical advice around accommodation?
Oh, I feel like it's worth trying to live there, because a lot of times people tend to say that, oh, you know, maybe renting privately is a lot cheaper, but I think for the first year, it's almost essential just to try and live in student halls, because the experience is very nice. You meet a ton of people, so it enhances your student life. For any practical advice, I would just say make sure you understand how far from university your accommodation may be. For example, in Falmouth, we have 2 different campuses, so we tend to advise people to see which campus you're on, so that you would know, you know, how far or how close you are to where you're going to study. So I think it's similar to most of the universities, just see where they are. try to work out if it makes sense for you to live closer and not pay for commuting, or if it makes sense for you to live further away, maybe for cheaper, but then pay for commuting. It just all comes down to personal preference and just, do your research.
Excellent. I wanted to stop here, but we've just got some really nice questions coming. So I'm going to ask everybody to hold on for just a couple of minutes more. Emma, do you want to come in here? What is how are UK universities kind of, looking at the health and safety side of things, given that it's COVID? Parents are going to be obviously very worried to send their students abroad in general, even though, a lot of students are going to study abroad. How safe is it?
Well, Strathclyde have taken a very cautious approach to COVID. We do have on-campus teaching at the moment, but we're still wearing masks, we're still hand sanitising. I think we're still implementing the 1 metre rule in our classes as well. So there's lots of guidance and advice for students. There's lots of signage has been put up around the campus. There's lots of hand sanitizer stations as well around campus as well. So they've taken a very cautious approach, but there's lots of guidance on our website as well to show people what we're doing and how we're protecting our staff and students.
Thank you, Emma. If the other universities want to come in to add anything, but I would assume it's sort of a similar approach across the board. And I just want to come in here and say that through the last 2 years, I think UK has been one of those international destinations that has handled COVID very well, with students sort of arriving or leaving. Health and safety has always been a priority for the UK government and for the UK universities. And I think that's, the way it was handled last couple of years, with this kind of support that was given to students, whether they were in quarantine, getting them food, healthcare, has been a testament to that. So, I think rest assured you'll be in good hands. Can I come to Jake for a very quick one? What are your options in media science communication?
Oh, I saw that question. I was trying to avoid it. Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, the reason why I was trying to avoid it is just because my own personal knowledge, I'm not totally sure what media science communication is. Okay. However, inside the parameters we do offer inside media and communications, there are lots of strands you can take that push more towards into the communications direction. Lots of sort of modules you can pick that push towards that way. So if that is what the question is getting at, then there are options to go that way. A lot of our programs as well, I just want to highlight, so I talked briefly about this earlier, a lot of our programs, especially in media, have lots of optional modules that you can pick. There will always be a couple of compulsory modules you have to take, but you can really direct the degree in the way you want to go. So if it is communications, the direction you want to go, so PR and marketing and that kind of area, and sort of comms in general, we definitely have those options. But yeah, I'm sorry, I just don't really know what
No, that's fine. I think it's a little bit up to interpretation. Chamil, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yes, actually, yes. So my advice is, when you choose a degree program, find a program that has enough flexibility for you to specialize in science communication. One example is, so we will have a new colleague in the journalism program here at Strathclyde who specializes in microplastics related communication. And she's a professor who will start from April. And her specialization is science communication. And of course, she has a media background, but she works with colleagues in science and technology, engineering, those sort of departments. And she kind of develops her work based on how we can communicate about microplastics related issues and what kind of scientific understanding people should have. And so if you have that kind of a purpose, choose the classes that will fit your purpose, and then kind of customize your degree in a way that will help you to become an expert in that area, and find a work placement in a science communication organization, and then you can have a smooth transition to science communication. I should say that it's an increasingly popular subject area. Yeah, we have many queries from students who are interested in science communication, so I think you're onto something very, very good here.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks, Jamil. Last question for Arav. What does a student do if they don't have very good CGPA, or good marks? Is that a big deal? Is that a game? Is that a deal breaker?
As much as I'd like to say, okay, first things first, let me make this clear. Please study as much as possible because that's the way to go ahead. But apart from that, at Founders, we believe that talent speaks much more than what your grades would. And so, of course, it's not a deal breaker, but that doesn't mean, or I'm not in any way whatsoever saying that don't study and only focus on your portfolio. Please make sure that your portfolio would matter much more than your marks at the end of the day. So don't be disheartened and just believe in yourself.
Thanks, Arav. I think on that note, on that very happy note, I'm going to draw this to a close. I just want to tell the students that I thank you for not just coming for the session, but for staying on beyond the hour. We're going to send you an email after this where we will be sharing the recording. We're going to share the details of the universities here so that you can pick up the conversation later. And I hope that's going to be useful for you. And I hope this session has given you the clarity that you needed to pursue your ambitions in media studies in the UK. I want to thank the panel for just being so wonderful, patient, articulate, and kind of handling all those questions. Thank you so much, and thank you for staying beyond the hour to just kind of help the students through this. Have a lovely weekend. The weekend's almost upon us. Have a weekend, and bye-bye. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.